What's up, traders? Eric here from MajorLeagueTrading.com, and we finally get at least the start of maybe a pullback here in this market. So in last night's video, if you guys have not watched that, I would go back and watch that one from last night. We were talking about, kind of what I thought would be the case here for, a potential move up into new all-time highs. And the first piece of that was something where, we kind of popped up, got new highs over last week's highs, and then started to fade that move back down, right? And that was something in which I said in the video last night, something in which I was kind of looking for coming into today, but also at the same time, like we had, that big target up above at 16,334 quarters. That was definitely, on the table here. So with that being said, we've now put in, what I think is the start of potentially this pullback here. And there's a very clear line in the sand for us going into tomorrow, right? And that's going to be 16,088.75 here. And if you're looking at the S&Ps, for those of you that trade that, that level is going to be 45.7650. If you are a SPY trader, then check out my Instagram because I'll put the same corresponding level for the SPY and the QQQs on there. But we're getting, like I said, potentially that start here. And we saw a number of names that probably should have held today. Number one being Tesla here. It got the nice gap up. It probably should have made a move up into, 255, 256s. And then that 265 we were talking about. But came down, traded the support level in which we had in here of, 245.37s. Literally to the tick, it bounced from that back up into opening print here, but really unable to hold that. So being the strongest name on the board yesterday, not necessarily the weakest name on the board today, but a weaker name here on the board today, I think is a little bit telling. And we have the same thing, kind of across the board, right? When we look at the high flyers here, Apple, right? Apple, nice gap to the upside. One thing in which we can notice here about Apple compared to the overall NASDAQ, we didn't break last week's highs in Apple like what we did in, the NASDAQ, right? So Apple here, nice weakness coming into today. We can take a look at something like Amazon here, gap up, tried to hold it, pulled back. Microsoft was one that was, also in the running there as well. Decent move yesterday and then gave it all back today, basically within that first, 2 hours of the day. And set a pretty decent range, right? So we're seeing something in which we haven't seen in a while, right? And Meta here being another one, down 2% here. And this one had a key level at 339.62s. If we could get above that, hold, and then run, I thought it had some potential on the day. But turns out it just wanted to go lower, crack those lower levels. And in addition to that, one more here that we'll mention is Walmart. Walmart, nice reversal bar here on the daily chart. This thing has already been beaten down from earnings. It's weak. And at this point, if market rolls over, I think Walmart probably gets a little bit of it gets a little bit of damage there. So this one I'm definitely keeping on watch. Really tight range into the end of the day there. But at the moment, I think we're getting the start of that potential pullback in which we've been looking for, and that the market, to some degree, kind of like needs and deserves. Right? It's had a really nice run. We can take a little breather here. We can take a little break. So I think that's where we're at in this current market. At the moment, I don't have really too many top long watches. We did get a couple earnings announcements that we can take a look at here. After the bell, CRM is up at 250.50. So this is going to be kind of in nowhere territory, similar like what PDD was, from yesterday. So big gap up in there. And then we also are seeing a decent sized gap here in snow that's kind of coming up into, this 190 to 192 area that I think is going to act as some resistance in there. And I'm not necessarily, too opposed here, depending on how this one acts tomorrow, for a potential fade. But I'll put all of that, of course, with levels and everything like that, inside of the morning, right up there for these names and the overall markets. But anyways, like I said, I think we're getting that start. So we'll see how this wants to shape out here in terms of the NASDAQ. But we have a really clear line right now, 16,088.75s. On a first test of that level tomorrow, assuming that we don't gap above it for some reason, right? On a first test of that level tomorrow, I'm going to be looking for shorts here with targets down into 15,927s. that's what I got for tonight's free video. Take care. Hope it helps. And I will see you guys on the next video. Peace.